156.
Yeah, but what property is that? Anong property?
This is the, makibasa anong property.
This is the McKinley Hill property, Your Honor.
At the back portion, is there any signature made by the declarant owner?
Saan doon? Saan doon yun? Alin doon? Wala.
There is none, Your Honor.
All right, there's none.
156.
Next.
Mega World may-ari na. Mega World may-ari na.
157. Can you also look at the rear portion and inform the Honorable Court if there is any signature of the declarant owner of the property?
There's no signature, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You know, what is the materiality of that?
Yeah.
The Article 2 deals with, you are presenting all of these documents under Article 2. The Article 2 of the Articles of Impeachment deals with the inclusion, disclosure, and non-inclusion of assets, isn't it?
That's correct, Your Honor.
If all of those assets were included in the SAL, and so
The complaint holds no water.
there's compliance with the required with Article 2. Now you must show that the asset is not included, then we will allow.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Oh, go ahead.
The SALN requires not only filing, but also that you file accurate entries in the SALN. And we are directly questioning the entries for their truthfulness and accuracy.
Then you produce that. You produce that. It is already established. The values are established in the declaration. Now you want to challenge the entries in this declaration, produce the evidence to controvert it.
We already did, Your Honor.
Where is it?
Because we have presented the various deeds of absolute sale covering these properties.
Then let those stay in the record. Make your summation at the proper time.
Correct, Your Honor.
You are arguing about values here. We will never end this hearing if that is your procedure. So ordered. Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Witness, as part of your functions as City Assessor of Taguig, and as part of your functions in issuing tax declarations, are you also informed about the deeds of absolute sale involving the properties under your jurisdiction?
Yes, Your Honor. It is part of the requirements before transactions been made.
All right. So, for the Bellagio, you would have known, as part of your functions as City Assessor, I'm referring to Exhibit Quadruple A, Your Honor, that the purchase price of the Bellagio is 14,510,225.
That is per deed of sale.
Per deed of sale, Your Honor. Whereas, the value indicated in your tax declaration, assessed value of 3,928,320 and market value of only 6,547,200. Will you confirm, Mr. Witness, that the value indicated in your tax declaration is substantially lower than the acquisition cost of this Bellagio property?
Admitted, Your Honor.
Yes.
The documents speak for themselves.
The best evidence will be.
Is that the case, Your Honor,
It's
also
already
for...
admitted by the prosecutor, by the defense.
Thank you, Justice. But may I ask you, please, if that admission also holds true for the property at Bonifacio Ridge Spanish Bay Tower and also the McKinley Hill property.
There is no definite statement, Your Honor, that we can either deny or affirm. May we be informed, Your Honor?
Well, you go over.
Then may I continue, Your Honor?
Yeah, go ahead.
For Bonifacio Ridge, Mr. Assessor, per contract dated October 14, 2005, the selling price is 9,159,940, whereas in the tax declaration that you issued, the market value is merely 2,369,980, and the assessed value of 1,421,990. Will you confirm, Mr. Witness, that the actual price, the selling price or the acquisition cost of this property is more than 3 times greater than the market value reflected in your tax declaration?
If Your Honor, please, before the witness answer, may we be clarified as to the purpose of the question, Your Honor?
Please clarify it.
May I explain, Your Honor?
Yeah.
I thought it was obvious, Your Honor, that in the SALN, the Chief Justice used values reflected in the tax declaration. We are proving right now that the acquisition cost, the actual value, or the current fair market value at the time of acquisition of these properties is far, far greater than that indicated in the SALN.
I understand that, Counsel. The SALN of the Chief Justice is an official document submitted by him, okay? And it reflects there the values that he attached to the properties that he declared in that SALN. Now, the tendency of your questioning is that those values do not show the real acquisition cost. I agree with you. That's why you have to introduce evidence to contradict those values to prove the true value of acquiring those properties by the declarant of that SALN. And that is what you have already done that.
We have already done that.
So what is the point in belaboring the issue with this witness?
Mr. President,
Yes, the majority floor leader.
Senator Marcos wishes to be recognized on that point, Mr. President.
The gentleman from Ilocos Norte.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to clarify, because there seems to be a confusion or a assertion that these are somehow discretionary values that can be imputed. The assessed value is very simply the schedule of fair market value, which is contained in an ordinance that is passed by the Sanggunian of that LGU. And from the schedule of fair market value, as is explained by Senator Recto, they take a percentage of that. Ano ba yung ating it's 30% for residential, 60% for condo, and
50% for agriculture.
That's right. So these assessed values come directly from the ordinance of that states the schedule of fair market value. The assessor has no discretion here. He simply has to follow fair market value times 30%, 50%, 60%, whatever it is. So I think that whatever the acquisition cost was, it does not indicate any shall we say discretionary adjustment by the assessor. If we are putting the assessor on a spot here when all the assessor does is make that very simple calculation. Just to clarify for everyone that these assessed values are pretty much dictated to the assessor by the ordinance that is passed by the Sanggunian of Taguig City. Just for clarification, Mr. President.
Counsel, you already established the basis that, and you asked that a while ago, that these documents presented by this witness are for tax purposes only. They do not deal with the actual fact of acquisition of the property by the declarant, Chief Justice of that shall end in question.
That being the case, Your Honor, we have no further cross-examination.
Precisely. Then you have already introduced the controverting evidence.
Mr. President,
Majority Floor,
may we recognize Senator Alan Cayetano, the minority leader, who had wished to be recognized, then Senator Lacson and Senator Recto.
Magandang hapon, Mr. President, sa ating pong dalawang panig. When lawyers and numbers come together, ganito talaga nangyayari. Kaya sa mga pre-law courses, tinanggal na yung maraming math courses, no? But allow me to help my kababayan in the witness stand to help clarify. By first, a question to both the prosecution and defense.
may I suggest, with due respect, before you proceed, let's suspend the session for
10 minutes, Mr. President. 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes.
Pansamantala pong sinuspinde ang paglilitis. Kanina po ay nakita natin ang pagtestigo ng City Assessor Office, miyembro ng City Assessor's Office ng Taguig para patotohanan itong mga tax declaration forms patungkol sa mga